Unthinkable Betrayal, Menglong's shocking truth that no one dared to reveal. What devastating secret was hidden behind the glittering image of a beloved star? And why was the world kept in the dark for so long? The silence is finally breaking. And the truth is more terrifying than anyone imagined. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we uncover the betrayal, the whispers, and the shocking revelations that will leave you breathless. The story of Menglong's sudden and tragic end has captured the world not only because he was a beloved star, but because the truth behind his death has unraveled into something no one ever imagined. What kind of betrayal could shatter millions of hearts? Why has it been buried until now? To his fans, Yu was more than just an actor and singer. He was a figure of hope, a face of innocence in a world obsessed with scandal. He represented sincerity, charm, a dream of purity that so many yearned for. And yet, behind that carefully polished image lay a devastating truth, one so horrifying that few dared to speak it aloud. Yu's journey to fame seemed like the perfect fairy tale. Born into a modest family, he worked tirelessly, honing his craft and climbing the difficult ladder of the entertainment industry. His performances resonated with audiences across Asia and beyond, portraying him as the gentle, reliable romantic lead whose smile promised comfort in an increasingly cynical age. Interviews painted him as humble and down-to-earth, a man who often spoke lovingly of his mother, crediting her as his guiding force. To the world, theirs was a bond unbreakable, the very model of family devotion. Fans adored not only him but the image of the supportive mother who stood proudly behind her son's rise. But as every fairy tale warns, illusions often hide shadows. And for Yu, those shadows began to surface in whispers long before his final day. Close acquaintances noticed signs of strain, subtle but persistent. He became more withdrawn, hesitant in his interviews, sometimes pausing as if measuring every word. Posts on his social media, once filled with joy and gratitude, grew cryptic. The people closest to you, he once wrote, can sometimes be the ones who cut deepest. Fans dismissed it at the time as poetic musing, but in hindsight, the words chilled with a different weight. The day the betrayal was revealed came like an earthquake. Headlines blazed, Yu Menglong's mother accused of complicity in his death. At first, disbelief reigned. How could the woman he praised so openly, the woman who gave him life, stand accused of taking it away? Yet as investigators unveiled fragments of their findings, the picture became darker. Evidence suggested financial disputes, with Yu preparing to claim full independence over his career and assets. For years, his mother had managed aspects of his business, her influence woven into every decision. If Yu had chosen to break away, it would have left her sidelined. Motives of money and control suddenly seemed plausible. The betrayal felt unbearable to fans who idolized Yu's filial devotion. The idea that the very symbol of motherly love could be the architect of her son's demise was unthinkable. Hashtags like Unthinkable Betrayal, Justice for Yu, Truth Must Be Revealed trended globally. Vigils erupted in cities far beyond China. People who had never spoken his name before now whispered it in grief. The shock transcending borders and cultures. The media, both tabloid and mainstream, descended on the story with unmatched ferocity. Tabloids splashed lurid headlines of greed and jealousy, painting Yu's mother as a woman consumed by obsession. Reputable outlets struggled to balance caution with the undeniable allure of the case. They reported leaked financial documents, testimonies from neighbors about late-night arguments, and the mysterious disappearance of insiders who claimed to know more. Every new detail fed into the narrative of betrayal, turning Yu's death into a global mystery. Witnesses added fuel to the fire. A family friend described how Yu had grown distant in recent months, confiding that he wanted more autonomy and that clashes at home had become frequent. A neighbor recounted hearing shouting late at night, voices rising in anger before falling into eerie silence. Some colleagues recalled his growing anxiety on set, his distracted demeanor, his quiet insistence that he was carrying something heavy. The puzzle pieces painted a grim picture. A man loved by millions yet trapped in an increasingly suffocating reality behind closed doors. Forensic experts were called upon to interpret troubling details from leaked footage allegedly showing Yu's body before cremation. To many, the marks on his skin hinted at violence, at struggle. Authorities dismissed the speculation, calling it as natural post-mortem changes. But the public was unconvinced. Each frame was analyzed endlessly, every bruise magnified, every shadow examined as evidence of foul play. To fans, the betrayal was already undeniable. Footage a silent scream that demanded justice. Even as the narrative of betrayal took hold, deeper questions arose. Was his mother truly the mastermind? She herself a pawn in a larger game? Could the entertainment industry, notorious for corruption and shadowy power struggles, have played a role in silencing a rising star who sought independence? Journalists whispered of powerful figures, unseen but influential, who might have engineered events and left Yu's mother to take the blame. The betrayal, it seemed, might be layered, personal, financial, and political. Public outrage grew louder by the day. Fans organized online movements, demanding a full investigation and transparency. Outside Yu's home, candles and flowers multiplied. But so too did angry slogans painted on banners. Tell us the truth, they read. Don't bury him twice. Internationally, celebrities paid tribute, some cautiously, others boldly demanding justice. The betrayal of Yu Menglong had become not just a national scandal but a global cry for truth. The image of Yu himself loomed larger than ever. Photos of his gentle smile, clips of his most beloved roles, and recordings of his voice filled timelines and broadcasts. Become a symbol, not just of stardom, innocence lost, of trust betrayed. Human longing for justice. His name, once synonymous with romance and dreams, was now bound to whispers of darkness and deception. And yet, amid the noise, one fact remained clear: the truth had not been fully told. The betrayal revealed so far was devastating enough. Insiders suggested there was more, far more, that remained hidden. Secrets buried deeper than anyone dared to uncover. Truths too dangerous for public view. The world had only glimpsed the surface, and the abyss beneath was still waiting. As closes, the betrayal of Yu Menglong feels like a wound too raw to heal. But in hushed conversations and leaked documents, in cryptic testimonies and vanishing witnesses, is the promise of revelations that could shake not just his family, not just the entertainment industry, society itself. For if what we know already is unthinkable, remains hidden maybe beyond imagination, the betrayal of Yu Menglong already felt unbearable. But whispers soon suggested that what the world knew was only the surface of something darker. The leaked fragments of evidence, bruises on his body, the financial disputes, and the accusations against his mother painted a horrifying picture. Behind those revelations lay an abyss of secrets that no one dared to speak aloud. It was as though Yu's death had opened a wound not just in his family, but in the very fabric of the entertainment industry. As investigators dug deeper, motives began to multiply. The most obvious was financial. Yu's estate was worth millions, with ongoing projects, endorsements, royalties tied to his name. His mother's long-standing involvement in his finances made her a prime suspect when rumors of dispute surfaced. But documents obtained by journalists hinted at something far larger: suspicious transfers linked to companies tied to the entertainment elite. Funds moving quietly in the weeks before his death. Be that Yu was caught in a web of corruption that reached far beyond his household? Anonymous sources fed the frenzy. Insider claimed Yu had confided that he was preparing to expose unethical practices in his management contract, practices that could have implicated powerful figures. Another alleged that he had gathered evidence of exploitation within the industry, intending to go public. If true, Yu's death might not simply have been a personal betrayal, but an act of silencing orchestrated by those who feared what he knew. The possibility of such a cover-up turned grief into fury, and fans demanded answers more urgently than ever. The courtroom became the stage of the century. With cameras banned inside, the public clung to transcripts, sketches, and second-hand reports. Prosecutors painted Yu's mother as a woman consumed by greed and control, weaving a story of manipulation that ended in unthinkable betrayal. They presented financial records, witness testimonies of arguments, and forensic analysis of the leaked footage. To many, the case seemed irrefutable. The woman Yu had trusted most had turned against him in the darkest way. But the defense struck back with ferocity. The evidence was circumstantial, riddled with inconsistencies. They argued the bruises on Yu's body could not conclusively prove foul play. They suggested the leaked footage was manipulated, to frames that seemed edited, lighting that distorted natural post-mortem changes. Most shockingly, they proposed that Yu's mother herself was a scapegoat, chosen to distract the public from more powerful figures truly responsible for his death. The courtroom erupted in debate. Seeds of doubt had already been sown. Outside, the world was watching. Protests grew in size. Not just demanding justice for you but questioning the integrity of the entire entertainment industry. Murals painted him as both angel and martyr. Banners bore slogans like "Truth for you" and "Never betrayed again." Fans carried candles and photos, chanting his name as though invoking a spirit of resistance. In Seoul, Tokyo, Paris, and New York, synchronized vigils turned city squares into oceans of light. Menglong's betrayal was no longer just a Chinese tragedy, it had become a global reckoning. And then came the disappearances. Whistleblowers who had spoken boldly in the early days began to vanish from public view. Online accounts tied to insiders were deleted without explanation. Journalists who hinted at deeper conspiracies retracted their stories under mysterious circumstances. A producer who claimed you had been silenced for refusing to cooperate with industry elites suddenly went silent. The message was chilling: whoever was behind the shadows of Yu's death still held power. And they were determined to erase the truth. The public refused to let go. Every deleted account, every retracted article became proof of conspiracy. Forums overflowed with analysis, hidden codes in Yu's final posts, searching for clues he may have left behind. Some claimed his last interviews contained cryptic warnings, subtle glances that betrayed his fear. Others argued his songs, long considered romantic ballads, are darker undertones, messages hidden in plain sight. Whether fact or fantasy, the hunger for truth was insatiable. Cultural impact of Yu's death grew immeasurable. Universities debated the case in ethics classes. Documentaries framed him as a tragic symbol of the price of fame. Scholars compared his story to ancient tales of betrayal. Heroes undone not by enemies but by those they loved most. In cafes, classrooms, and living rooms, his name was spoken with reverence and sorrow, a reminder of both human fragility and human cruelty. As the trial neared its end, the world braced for a verdict. Would Yu's mother be convicted, sealing her fate as the betrayer of her son? Or would she be acquitted, leaving the world with no clear culprit and even deeper questions? The anticipation was suffocating. Yet many feared that no matter the outcome, full truth would never be revealed. Too many voices had been silenced. Too many shadows lingered. And indeed, when the final gavel fell, it did not come. The case ended in controversy, conflicting evidence leaving as many doubts as answers. Some celebrated justice. Others condemned corruption. All agreed on one thing: Yu Menglong's death remained a haunting mystery. The betrayal was undeniable, but its depth could never be fully measured. For his fans, however, Yu's legacy endured. His music still played. His performances still brought smiles. His memory still united millions in grief and hope. They refused to let the betrayal define him entirely. Instead, they turned him into a symbol, a reminder to question, to seek truth, to never accept silence in the face of injustice. And Yu's story became larger than himself. It became a mirror reflecting society's darkest corners: greed, control, and the devastating cost of silence. Ashes may have been scattered, but the fire of his betrayal burned on, lighting the path for those still searching for answers. And so the world continues to ask, what truly happened to Yu Menglong? Who silenced him? And why? These questions may never find full answers. But one truth remains: his voice, taken, still echoes. His body rests, but his betrayal lives on. And until the last secret is revealed, Yu Menglong will never truly be at peace. In the end, Yu Menglong's story is not just about a star whose light was extinguished. It is about betrayal, silence, and the hidden truths that shake the very core of trust. His voice may have been taken, but his memory continues to echo, demanding answers the world still searches for. At Red Carpet Revealed, we believe that stories like Yu's must never be forgotten. They are painful, but they are also powerful, reminders that justice, truth, and courage matter even in the darkest of times. Thank you, our readers, for standing with us through this journey. Your voices, your questions, and your passion for truth keep the flame alive. Together, we will continue to uncover the stories they try to bury. No matter how shocking, no matter how heartbreaking. Thank you for reading.